Hey, blessings. Welcome to today's daily devotional where we look at God's Word and we take away the law enforcement specific lesson that we find in God's Word. Today's reading was out of 1 Samuel chapter 26 and 29, and I really hope you had a chance to look at this and read it ahead of time so you know where we're going with this takeaway. Today we get right back into seeing Saul and his spear. And if you remember from one of our previous devotions, we talk about the spear and how important it was to Saul and how Saul um, looked to it for his protection instead of looking to God for his protection. That he put too much um, of his faith in this spear. Um, so let's look at chapter 26 and see how the spear comes back into play today. We see David on the run from Saul. Saul's chasing him again, even after he had kind of given David a reprieve and gone back home. Now he's back after him again. Um, David, of all people, knows the significance of the spear that belongs to Saul. But today the spear really betrays Saul because David has snuck into his camp and he's trying to locate Saul. And we assume it's for the purpose of killing Saul. But if we assume that, just like we may have assumed it when he went into the cave, we'd be wrong. David goes into the camp. He's sneaking around. All these soldiers are asleep, and he's stepping over people, and he's looking for Saul. And then all of a sudden, he sees the spear sticking up out of the ground like a flag that says, "Here he is." Saul's spear points the way to Saul. David goes right up and he takes the spear and he takes Saul's jug of water, and they are symbolic of Saul's very life, of the thing he puts all his protection in. With the spear, it protects him in battle against all of his enemies. And the jug represents water, or not represents, it is water, but water represents his life. He's in the desert and he's going to need water to survive. So David takes away those two things and goes back up on a mountain, and he calls to Saul and he says, "Hey, I've got these two things, very important to you." And he speaks with him, "Why are you still chasing me?" Saul sees that he has sinned again, and he apologizes to David and says he's not going to chase him anymore. But the very next thing that David does just blows my mind. Here's this weapon that Saul's used twice to try and kill him with. David knows how much um, importance Saul places on this spear. I think I would have destroyed it or kept it. I wouldn't give the spear back to Saul. But David realizes this spear means nothing. It's important to Saul, but if David keeps or does anything with it, he just feeds into Saul's notion of how important this spear is. So what does David do? David says, "Here's the spear back. I'm not worried about your spear. I'm not afraid of your spear. Your spear means absolutely nothing. Matter of fact, here, you can have it back. Send somebody up here to get it, and it's yours." Um, David gives us a great example of not putting our faith into things and stuff, which we're so apt to do as human beings. It's a great lesson, a great takeaway for us who carry weapons, not to put too much faith and stock in these things to protect us. We know that our protection only comes from the Lord. So anyway, I hope you got a chance to read this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Be safe out there.